Welcome back to Nashville Alive. I'm Alvin Augustus Jones. Trust you're having a remarkable and amazing day. I want to thank the extraordinary people here at TCT for sharing their love, not only here but around the world, with the good news of Jesus Christ. As you know, we have been doing a series bringing in individuals who are making a great difference in the lives of so many persons around the community. One such person is this young man here named Travis Rice, who claims to like Andy Griffith as well as the Beverly Hillbillies. So what do you know about Jethro Bodine, sir?
Well, I don't know as much, honestly, about the Hillbillies as I do Andy. I was actually a late bloomer
Okay.
on the Hillbillies. I didn't start watching them until I was grown, actually. But Andy was one of the few things we got growing up. We had 4 channels, bunny-ear antennas, and we would race down the driveway from the school bus in order to watch Andy. And we didn't start getting the Hillbillies till later.
So what
They
was it
didn't become a
about
classic.
Andy Griffith that, or the show that impressed you or that kind of resonated with you?
Well, I mean, aside from just its entertainment, category, it was just Andy's ability to tell his stories and to tie things in. And now, even as a grown man, especially, I watch clips of it and I think, man, it's one of those instances where you're learning without realizing you're learning,
Right.
which is honestly where you do most of your learning. And because whenever somebody says, hey, listen to this, you kind of flip that switch off a lot of times. But if it's just as casual and easy as somebody like Andy Griffith makes it, you like I said, you learn and don't even realize it's happening. So and of course the way he tells stories and the way he talks, and it's gosh, it's just classic. And I don't know how you ever beat it. And I'm definitely a color Andy Griffith snob. I like the black and white ones.
Oh, really?
Stick to
Shame on
those.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I don't like them in color as much. I like the black and white.
Young people today, they just don't get it. They just don't get it. When did you know that you had a gift in the area of music?
It was really when I got into high school. I drove a long ways. I lived 30 minutes from my high school, and driving that much time every day, listening to the radio, I started just kind of singing along, and and of course, in my old head, I was I was a rock star, but it took a couple of years. I started thinking, hey, maybe there's something here. Maybe I need to branch out on this a little bit, maybe see if it's a thing, because I knew I enjoyed it, and I knew I could see my improvement over the years, and so yeah, it just kind of grew from that, and then I of course needed a date, so I started playing guitar. And
So you get the ladies with a guitar?
well, it didn't hurt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So picking and the grinning works.
The picking and grinning. I mean, you hear that somewhere along the line.
Right.
And so I
That's
said,
hee-haw.
I said, hey, Mom, where do I go with drums or guitar? Because that's what's going to help. And luckily, she pushed me towards guitar because I had already made a homemade drum kit in the basement with hubcaps and paint buckets, and so she was like, I think a guitar is probably you can turn that down, and so fortunately, she made the right move, and I just picked up the guitar and loved it, and but I wanted to be a lead guitar player. I wanted to be able to really, Chet Atkins kind of stuff, and just wasn't going to happen. I couldn't. It wasn't in me to do that. So the writing and the singing just naturally kind of took its place once I realized that was not in my cards.
Now, riding in a car, now I have your FBI file.
Yeah.
A rumor has it, now you have to correct me, did you actually drive a Shelby Mustang?
No, it wasn't a Shelby. It was a 65 coupe. I always wanted a Shelby.
Okay.
And so if they told you a Shelby now, they might have
So
stretched that a little
my
bit.
intelligence is
Yeah, your
incorrect.
intelligence was a little off. It was, no, I did have a 65 Mustang coupe, though. And I had it for several years and redid it, put the motor in it, overhauled it completely while I was in high school. Dad, and he believed in buying us project cars.
Oh, okay.
And he bought I have 2 brothers, and he bought each one of us an old vehicle, and he helped us build the motor for it.
Wow.
Put it in, and,
That's a good time to bond with a father.
Absolutely, and so we spent a lot of time just he wanted us to know how things worked, so that way if we were put in a situation, even if we weren't the ones fixing it, we knew whether we were getting taken for a ride, so to speak, or and that was kind of always his premise when he was teaching us stuff. So, and plus, another thing, didn't hurt on getting dates if you had a old car that was loud and obnoxious. And
Well, as a single man, I'm trying to learn how to play the game, so
It never hurts.
I appreciate all these insights that you're sharing with me. So I got to get a guitar, and I got to get a Mustang.
A Mustang, yeah.
Okay. I'm closer.
Growing your hair out, I hear, was pretty good, too.
Oh, really? Well, I guess there's no hope for me. pray for me, you know. But when you're in a crowded field, this is called, for some strange reason, Music City.
Right.
So what is the unique Travis Ray sound that allows you to stand apart in the crowd?
Well, it's you know, our baritone. We're not flooded with baritone voices, and you know, so and I am loud and projective, so that doesn't hurt. But as far as deeper meaning than that is, people always like real, and you know, and everything we do is I always say that my songs are just my journal.
Okay.
And it is just an extension of me, and because it literally started that basic and simple, is that I needed a way to cope with things.
Okay.
I had some things going on in my life that,
Okay.
and being a guy and being you growing up in a small town where guys are supposed to be men are men.
Sure.
You didn't talk about it. You didn't put it out there. You did you either you just swallowed it down and just kept going, or that was it. So I needed a way to get that out of me, though, and so songwriting, that's when it just coincidentally came into my life. Well,
Right.
probably not coincidentally, but it seemed that way. And so yeah, I was just pouring out everything I had inside of me into these songs, and then they developed into what we're doing now, and I started performing them, and people started relating to them,
Right.
which was a hard step to make, to take
Sure.
something so real to me and just throw it out there, no idea what people were going to think of it. But I knew that I had always used music as a way to relate.
Okay.
If I was going through something hard and I heard a song about that, I mean,
Right.
okay, well, at least I'm not the only one going through that. Somebody wrote this song, so therefore somebody else has experienced this. And then you also use music to escape those same
Right.
scenarios. So I thought, well, it's worth a shot. So we were doing a lot of cover song stuff at the time, and just trying to pay for my truck, honestly. And so I just started throwing in a little bit of my stuff here and there, and I started seeing that connection in people's eyes, that they were getting something out of it.
Right.
And, so it's still kind of my platform, and that's still what I think makes us stand apart a little bit, is that for me it's all about that connection, and it's all about either saying, hey, I'm here for you. We've been through the same thing.
Right.
I can relate, or hey, let me take you out of this negative
Right.
and put you in a positive.
Right.
And because how quick a song can change your emotion,
Real
or
quickly.
enhance your emotion, whichever one. So, and I think in a town full of people that are, doing their thing their own way, it's great. This is just my thing, my way, and
Right.
We'll stand out to the right people. The people that can relate to that, come on, and the people that don't, that's fine too. Maybe someday we'll land on that. So I mean, I'm going to be around, so I try not to overthink it and put too much on, like, oh my gosh, we have to do so much different than
Someone
I
else.
just do me. I just do what comes natural, and I think, like I said, I think the people that need to hear it will hear it.
Yeah, well, people are responding to your music all over the world. As a man, I'm gonna share something with you now, and then I want you to share your story. Is that recently I lost my best friend, and I had known him for 20 years,
Yeah.
and I had talked to him, a couple hours every day, and having a best friend in your life is very, very important. And
Right.
I didn't realize as a man, I'm getting emotional.
Yeah.
I mean, I drove 1,200 miles to North Carolina and back, 24 hours, did a military funeral, get back, back here to work.
Right.
And then I don't pick up a phone anymore because I can't call him.
Right.
He normally would have rode shotgun with me when I did those kind of
Right.
trips.
Exactly.
And so now I can't call him.
Exactly.
I can't reach out to him. And
Yeah.
we knew each other. A real relation. We would fight, argue,
Yeah.
get mad at each other, whatever. But at the end of the day, everything I went through for the last 20 years, he was a part of.
Right.
And while we were in the green room, you was telling me about your personal story about your loss. Tell me about the
Yeah.
loss of you and your best
Well,
friend.
and my friend Jake, of course, I was only 22 when it happened, so we don't, we'd been friends for years, but obviously not that long. But
Right.
not only was he my best friend, though, he was both of my brother's best friends.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah,
A triple, a
yeah.
trifecta.
So I mean,
okay.
he was a brother, and he was that kid that. Of course, he was 26 when I was 22. He was my oldest brother's age, so it trickled down all the way through. And when my oldest brother got married, then me and Jake got even closer because I kind of took. I was still
You got-
out
you
doing
got more,
things.
you know.
Jake was still single.
Right.
I was still single, and it just organically happened. But he was that kid that if he was with us and Dad introduced his sons, if he didn't include Jake, you know, Jake would be hurt. You know,
Right.
he wanted him to be included as a son, and I mean, so he was the guy that when he come over to the house, he didn't knock, he just walked in. You know, he just sat down, he just went to the fridge, you know, whatever. So, and he's just this big, lovable guy. He's 6'6" and 300 pounds, and just, you know, but he acted like he was 5'2", and you know, he'd just jump on you, and you know, he didn't realize how big of an animal he was. You know, like a big dog, they don't realize how big they are, but. So he's just this larger than life guy, and you know, it was just a tragic thing. You know, he was a truck driver part time. He farmed, and he had a construction company, hauled topsoil, and he was delivering a load of topsoil one morning, and his airline busted on his truck. And
Oh, wow.
anyway, you know, it was such a shock. We were building my brother's house, so all three of me and my brothers were together when we found out, because we were all out there framing up his walls, and you know, we of course just didn't know what to do.
Right.
It was really such a shock. It was the first time anything like that had happened in my life. I had lost loved ones, but they were elderly, and you know, there's a certain, you never expect it, but there's a certain amount of you know,
the preparation for it.
preparation for it. So anyway, it totally blew us away, of course, and
because you're still, even as you're talking about, emotional about it.
yeah, but it has changed. You know, it changed my life, and it's in more than one way, but the biggest way is, you know, you grow up, you're always preached that God has a plan. He does everything because he loves you, and it's for the good of you.
Right.
And so then you're faced with a situation like that, and you're saying, you know, how can this be good? And well, with Jake, we started seeing that pretty quickly with his funeral that had, I mean, 1,200 people show up.
Wow.
I mean, he's not famous. He's not, I mean, he's just a good guy that's lived in a small town his whole life and worked. There was over 1,200 people show up. So I mean, just to know, like I said, instantly, we knew that he had touched that many lives, and that he just, you know, it was mind-blowing. It really was.
Well, speaking of touching lives, just like Travis is sharing this story here, and what is your website we can go to?
Oh, Travis Rice Music.
You can learn more about this story and other information concerning his music and what he's doing around the world. I need you to do something. Call this number, 1-800-232-9855, 1-800-232-9855, or go to this website, www.tct.tv. This ministry is making a difference in the lives of so many individuals with the power of Jesus Christ. As you heard Travis' story, as you heard earlier Dr. Michael's stories, these are stories that you need to hear that are like a comfort, like a blanket, like a great meal for you in order for you to succeed in life. This is truly bread from heaven right here in Nashville. But we cannot do it without your support, and we need your support right now. There are so many souls in the balance, and their lives can be changed if they hear stories like you're hearing right now. So do me a favor. Right now, call this number, 1-800-252-9855. Regardless of the gift, everything that you will send into this ministry will change the lives of individuals and allow us to grow and to expand and to make a difference in the lives of so many. So thank you so very much. We appreciate you being a part of today's broadcast. I'm Alvin Augustus Jones, and we appreciate the opportunity to come in your lives and tell you about the life-changing power of the Word of God. God bless you. We love you so much.